arrived there, Dr. Black pressed on my side, and he said that intern at Tarpon's made a dreadful mistake. He would have ruined a vacation for two fine families. Your appendix aren't even swollen. Well, what he didn't realize was that they had burst in the ambulance, and so they were not swollen. The swelling had gone down, and I felt better. Another thing, I had never even taken aspirin up to this point, and because of the extreme pain at Tarpon Springs, they had given me a shot of morphine. I'd never had drugs, and so I thought I was cured. Not realizing the pain was there, I was not feeling it. They explained to me that the blood test showed peritonitis, gangrene, but he said, you Yankees get sick up north, and then you come down to Florida in this hot July weather, and you already have infection, and this makes you worse. And this is what's happened to you. He said, we're going to give you antibiotics, and you'll be back out on the beach in a couple days. I reached up and hugged Dr. Black. That was what I wanted to hear. We did not have the money for this vacation. We borrowed the money, my family, and we did not have any medical insurance. And I had 2 new swimsuits I charged at Malz Brothers. And when you got 2 new swimsuits, you don't want scars on your stomach, and you want to go to the beach. So I loved Dr. Black right off. They put me to bed and gave me something to help me sleep, and he patted my hand. He said, I'll see you in the morning. Well, he saw me in the morning, all right, about 4 a.m. I woke up screaming, vomiting again. Ed, you've been barking up the wrong tree. This woman has a tubular pregnancy in the right tube, about a 4 months dead fetus, and surgery immediately is necessary. We probably waited too long. I will never forget the fear I had. I'd never had surgery, and my parents were confused. 3 doctors with 3 different diagnoses. In the recovery room, in the ICU, I heard them talking. The first little intern was right. It was a ruptured appendix 11 days ago, and it was too late. We have found a mass the size of a man's head of gangrene. It has coated all of her organs. They have started to disintegrate. There is a serious bowel block, and if she lives, we will have to do surgery again for the bowel block. And they did in about 3 days, I believe it was. Then the infection went wild through my whole system. The doctors explained to my husband, and didn't know I could hear all of this, that if I lived, they would have to do a colostomy, and I would carry a bag on my side for elimination. I was about to get the greatest education of my entire life. I lapsed into a coma that lasted the greater part of 44 days. I had no idea that a person that was unconscious could hear anything, but I heard everything that went on in that room. Little things we take for granted. It was so wonderful to eat again. But in the room came Sarge. I finally got to meet her. I recognized that voice right away. She said, I have to run this tube up your nose, down your throat, so you don't vomit and hemorrhage. And before she could do that, a lady came in the room, and I listened to learn that she was complaining to the nurse because she was well and was going home in about 10 minutes, but all they gave her for her last meal was 4 ounces of 7-Up on crushed ice. The doctor sent orders, don't even pump her stomach. We have to move fast. If food has passed the duodenal muscle, it will be too late. Get an orderly and bring her down. So an orderly arrived, and as we went out the door, I asked him, I said, would you stop in the little room? I have a natural impulse. And he said, sure. He had no idea the whole situation. And he helped me. I had wobbly legs. When I got in there, all of my plumbing worked in every way, does every day, did again this morning at 6 a.m. Little things that I took for granted that mean so very much. It was wonderful. And the doctor said, this is not possible. But I'll tell you, if it was explainable, it would not be a miracle. I never had the drug withdrawal that they were afraid of. I never had the drug habit that they feared. They wondered if I would have a lot of depression that would be unexplainable. And then they warned me about birth control. He said, I saw your innards, and when you leave here, if you would by some miracle have conception, you may produce a deformed child. He said I would use birth control. This was all explained to me when I left the hospital. I have to tell you that I doubled my weight in about 4.5 or 5 months. You're looking at the happiest depressed woman you're ever going to meet. Never had a drug withdrawal or a drug habit. I think last year I took 8 aspirin. That's not a bad drug habit. And I had a daughter that was born after I died, and she was perfect in every way.